So,
Hi.
conference is done.
Yes.
So what was your take? How do you feel?
Really excited, a little bit tired, but it was really amazing for me. First of all, to meet families, because my son Mario received his diagnosis just more or less 1.5 years ago, and he's 3 years old now. And meeting families with older CHOPS kids is something very impactful in my mind. And it was really moving, but I was so happy to meet them, and I can love each of those kids really. And then of course I'm really proud of this symposium, because it is the result of everything, of all the job that we are trying to do. So all the scientists that we involved during the last year were here in presence or remotely. They gave their contribution. And so for me, it is really an honor to be here, also in the place where CHOPS was discovered. So a mix of ingredients make this event really special for me.
So this is the second CHOPS Symposium.
Yeah.
What progress have you seen?
So in this case, it was not only a meeting for families and a meeting with families and doctors, giving support to CHOPS symptoms. It was really a meeting when you can focus on perspectives, when you can focus on what you can do next. It was a meeting about the possibility of finding a therapeutic path. So that was the difference. Now we have a real opportunity to do something to improve our kids' quality life. So I think that this was the biggest difference with respect to the first one. And I hope that the third one will be even more amazing.
It's amazing. It's just the second one.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're already talking about therapeutics, right? And,
yeah.
And how do we go to the clinic? And so it's just so exciting. And I certainly learned a lot from other scientists. And we were talking about how Rett syndrome, or MECP2, the causative gene of Rett syndrome, seems to be connected to AFF4, which causes CHOPS. There may be some really interesting synergies, which I know we've discussed with HDAC8 and AFF4, and collected all the data between the two diseases. So I'm just so excited that there are all these multiple paths forward, and we'll see what works ultimately. But there are paths.
Yes, there are.
It's not hopeless. We have a nice path forward.
And I think that you are amazing scientists. You can just put together all your energies and share your knowledge in order to optimize this path. Because you are studying with different skills, different methodologies, but in the end, every group can give a special piece to the puzzle in order to solve this
it's a puzzle.
very complicated problem. Yes,
it's a hard puzzle.
Yeah,
that's great. And I have to say, it was very moving to see these patients, because one thing that I always like to remind my team at Unravel and others is why we do this. Right? It's about the patients. There's fantastic science that can be exciting, but ultimately the goal is to help these kids, mostly kids, to feel better and have better quality of life. But you also appreciate the diversity of challenges as well. So one kid is not like the other.
No, they are all different. Yeah.
Once you've seen one, you've seen one.
Yeah.
But it was just wonderful to see firsthand what it's like. And that's what I was trying to remind people about. This is why it's so important, and it's not this theoretical goal. There's Lita, Mario, there are these kids with names that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, and I think that it is very peculiar in this world that the patients and families are really making a difference.
Okay.
So I am a scientist too. I am an astrophysicist, and okay, you are not taking care of humans. You are taking care of other stuff. And when you go to a conference, there are only the experts in this field. And I think that this is not typical of medical science in general. But in the rare disease world, it is fundamental to bring all these groups together. So researchers and medical doctors and families. And it is amazing to see families who listen to some technical talks. Maybe they do not understand the details. We do not understand the details because, of course, this is not our field. But we can give a really important contribution to make the science progressing for our kids, of course. So it is really a peculiar field of science. I mean,
yes, and especially when you have around 40 patients or so all around the world, right? I mean, outback of Australia, South Africa, all over Europe, United States. I mean, that's where I see the biggest power for foundations, is to bring everybody together, and pool resources, pool just the feedback of like, what problem do you want solved? And hearing from one family represents that one family, but hearing from 40, now you start to build a bigger picture of what are the priorities that we need to pursue. So, really,
I hope that now that we met in person, it will be even more easy to reach every family and to ask questions and receive answers which are fundamental to go to the next step. Because now, you know, when you meet a person, you can look into his or her eyes. This can make the difference. So I hope that from now on we can have a jump of quality. Also, we are doing a lot, but I want that we are even more united in pursuing the same goal.
Speaking of next steps, what's next, other than the third-year conference?
So
what do you want to hear there?
I would like to define a strategy, the best strategy. We need to optimize the timeline and also the results in order to have them very meaningful in scientific terms. I mean, we want to have a drug which is safe for our kids, of course, and we want to test, to have a tool to assess its efficacy. And so we need to really define a strategy, maybe define multiple options, and maybe decide to follow not only one, but more in parallel. Of course, we need, in order to do this, we need time, we need resources in terms of financial resources. And so we really need to write a strategy, the best one that we can with what we have, and in terms of maximum results. I don't know if this is if this is enough clear.
Pretty good goals for next year.
Okay.
Can't wait to see it in year 3.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thanks so much for having me, for hosting this conference. I mean, I know that must have been a huge amount of effort to put together, especially from Italy.
From Italy, yes.
Make it happen in Philadelphia. So, thanks. Is there anything else that's on your mind, or?
No, I think that is enough.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Richard, for your work.